Hello, everybody. Welcome back, Dangerous Freedom. And I am joined tonight by one of my best friends, Mooseman. Good to see you, brother.
Buddy,
And yeah, we're going to talk about all things gun and government and corruption, whatever. I'm going to try to keep it on the boundaries to where we're not advocating anything illegal, unlawful,
or
dangerous.
fattening.
Um, this is only an opinion show, and we take a Second Amendment stance on this. How do gun
Plus,
owners feel?
plus
I
we
mean,
inform on what's happening in nationwide news that the people need to be aware of.
amen. All right, let me go through the list of who we got in here so far. We got Praler, Kingpin. Good to see you. I'm your Huckleberry. We got Joe Morgan in here. Good to see you. Well, I mean, unless you got an F-15, what are you gonna do, right?
God, and I haven't seen one of them
Oh,
flying in a while. They got to be stored somewhere. I wonder if they're up for bid.
I don't know. Maybe we could go hijack one. I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah, I think that's just ridiculous, man. Our resident in chief, man, he doesn't have a single clue about what's going on. Not really.
yeah, for everybody who may not have heard, our resident house plant said that the American people, we couldn't own cannons, which was a lie, and that we would need F-15s and a nuke to take over the government.
Yep.
Yet they've been cowering in their shoes over the January 6th few hundreds or thousand that stormed the Capitol because they were going to take down the government. And they didn't have any guns, and they didn't have any F-15s, and they didn't have any nukes. But we were going to take down the government. What a crock. Nick.
Okay. So yeah, we got that. Um,
Now, I did hear Kim Jong il was going to put up a small nuke and an old F-15 he salvaged for auction to the highest bidder, but I've yet to confirm that. I think that's an internet rumor.
yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. The sales on those F-15s must be going up, though. I mean, I know a few pilots. I mean, I don't know if they're jet pilots or just flying Cessnas or whatever. And I imagine an F-15 has a lot higher of a maintenance upkeep than a Cessna,
Yeah,
considerably. But yeah, I thought that was ludicrous. It reminded me just like when Eric Swallow came out a couple years ago and was like, "Well, you know what? If the gun owners don't want to give them up, then we'll just use tactical nukes. What are you gonna do then?" I mean, like seriously, the snottiness, the tyrannical oozing out of these people is just absolutely disgusting. And then freaking Biden had the fucking audacity to say, the blood of patriots and blah blah blah, and the tree of liberty. Well, you know what? You need F-15s. Well, you know what? We got the damn military in control of those F-15s. He thinks he's in control of the military. No, you know what? Yeah, I don't think you know. You don't even control your own bladder, son of a
yeah.
bitch.
See, that's the problem with them not teaching civics anymore. And I've come to realize even I was taught civics a little wrong. The first level of government is the United States citizen. We are the first level of government.
Yep.
Then you have the three branches of government. Well, the executive branch is just up there as a figurehead to kind of oversee things and put his signature on whatever bullshit that decides to come across his desk. And then we've got the lawmakers, and then we've got the judicial that's supposed to look over things and follow the Constitution, which some of them seem to be having a problem with because they can't understand even um, three simple words on some of the amendments. And all this stuff, and they refuse to hear cases. So
Yep.
we do have some judges in California now, and the Ninth Circuit Court's going back and forth, because the judge says one thing, the Ninth saying another. Now they're going to have an
En
en
banc.
banc hearing, which means they're bringing in all the judges.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which
So it's
means
going
that
to get interesting. Also, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, that in California, that hearing is going to be mostly liberal.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
And then we've got the ATF stopped taking letters on some of their proposed rule changes, which aren't law, by the way. They're not law, and I don't give a damn what they say.
Hmm.
Until Congress passes a law,
Yep.
they're supposed to be following the 68 Gun Control Act, as well as the 86 Gun Owner
And if
Protection Act.
oh, okay.
And 48 senators sent a letter to the ATF and told them to stop the
Yep.
brace attack on the brace, so that especially disabled shooters who need a brace wouldn't affect them, because that would go against the American Disabilities Act. But of course, they don't seem to give a crap about the disabled people wanting to shoot, but we do.
Yep. No, I agree with you on that. And you know what gets under my skin, Moose, is just in 2017. They went ahead and the ATF did their inspection on the braces and were like, oh no, these things are perfectly lawful and everything, and no, it's not going to be a short barrel rifle. And now all of a sudden we get this potato, whatever resident, and in there, and now the ATF is like, well, okay, well, I guess we could change the definition around. What? No, 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 no. You already came out not even 4 years ago and said, hey, look, these things are perfectly lawful, legal, everything. And now you're trying to double step back. No, it don't work like that. And like you said, you know, it would have to be a total law change, right? Yeah, I would
It
think.
has to be Congress writes the laws, right? And they really are not a legal authority as far as writing laws. They're supposed to uphold the definitions, and the definitions are clearly spelled out in the
Mm,
68 Gun Control Act, for all to read, and the 86 Sportsman's Protection Act, which has some illegal, unconstitutional stuff in there. But there's not enough people are standing up to it, and the ATF does not abide by even the Third District Court of Appeals ruling on some things. So there is a proposed legislation to disband the ATF now has been introduced
I've
too,
heard.
but you won't hear a lot about it. But it's,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it'll go anywhere, because there's just too many uh, people that are in power that have no clue about guns. They have no clue about the being out on the streets and gun violence. They've got their own armed security details, and we're supposed to be the chop liver of society out here. And they want us to be unarmed sheep when the wolves come. Well, I'm sorry. An armed sheep may have something to say about that when the wolves come. And that's the way we're going to look
Absolutely.
at it. We're not going to be unarmed sheep. We're citizens. Our rights are spelled out, and the limits on government are spelled out by our Constitution. And you swore an oath to that Constitution, politicians. How about upholding that oath instead of being treasonous and taking out next certain parts that you don't like? Look, we have free speech, freedom of religion, freedom to own firearms, freedom from search and seizures,
Hmm.
all these freedoms, freedom from slavery, and freedom to drink alcohol. I mean, you don't have no problem with them.
As Bushido say, a lot of people posing as experts when the wolves come. Ah,
Well, I always say an expert is a X is a has been, and a spurt's a drip under pressure. So that's why I don't call myself an expert.
Hey, you know what? I'm a jack of all trades, master. Maybe a couple.
A couple, yeah.
you know, I don't know, man. Just the way that they're assaulting our Second Amendment, they're assaulting the people.
Right.
I mean, we're already seeing that more and more people are waking up every day to what they're doing. Now, granted, back in the 1930s when that NFA Act was signed, it should have never been allowed.
Right.
I mean, that was one of the big things that went against our constitutional rights. It basically freaking just, uh, what do they call that when you break somebody's knees so they can't run? It hobbled our Second Amendment, is what the NFA did.
And it
It
was a
hobbled
tax
it.
act. It was a tax act.
Mm. Hey, Nikki.
That's what I was talking about. A lot of people, if you do your research, the Third District Court of Appeals in Illinois ruled against the ATF and in favor of Rock Island Armory, and they basically said that when the government gave up in 1986 taking the $200 tax money for machine guns, the court told them the government gave up the right to regulate those guns. The ATF does not want to do that because then they try to say, oh, well, if somebody is building one or something, they have intent to break the law. That's not what the order says. The order says that the government gave up the right to regulate those guns by not taking the tax money because I can't take and go up and give them $200 tax and fill out a form and come home and build me a machine gun if I want. So I have no right there to own a gun without I feeling that I am infringed.
Yeah.
Same with suppressors. We got the dumbest laws on suppressors, and they think we keep using is, oh, well, they were used by criminals. No, they're not used by criminals. Oh, they
No,
make a
they're
gun.
not.
Oh, they don't make a gun silent. And oh, they'll be used for poaching. Well, that could be, but game wardens have a job to do, and I'm sure they'll do the best of their ability to catch people that are using them and throw the book at them. So it's
Yeah.
considered a gentlemanly thing in England of all places that has gun control. You can walk in any place and buy a suppressor.
Yes, you can. And no,
So
you don't have a 6 month to a year wait. You don't have any extra charge. I mean, just with everything that goes on top of it, it makes a suppressor out of my budget.
right, right.
You
I
know,
mean, you're looking at a 9 month wait to get a suppressor, $200 tax, and then a suppressor is going to
probably
cost you
1,000,
seven to
eight
fifteen
hundred
hundred
to a
dollars,
1,000. Mm-hmm.
depending on what you're getting. Right. So yeah, it's a high priced item. They call it a firearm when it doesn't do anything. It's an add-on device, but they classed it as a firearm, which beats me how because the definition of firearm is something that shoots a bullet. It don't shoot a bullet. A bullet goes through it,
No,
but it doesn't. You can't load a bullet in it and shoot somebody with it.
no, you cannot.
So
And
we
I
have
was
no
gonna say,
common sense
I was
left.
gonna say on, I was gonna say on that note, it's like how they're just changing the definition. I mean, how is that even allowed?
Well, they've changed the definition of assault rifle now, and there
Well, I
really is
mean,
no such thing as assault rifle. But now they're including semi-auto AR-15s are now in the Webster's dictionary as an assault rifle. They took out the select fire of it. That just to me, when you
well, I
start
mean,
changing definitions of a
well,
word,
you, well, you gotta remember, like that's what they did with the bump stocks. Remember,
yeah,
is they changed it to now it's if you've got a bump stock, it's a machine gun. It's like,
right,
no, it's not. It's still one pull of the trigger. It's just an assistant, an assist. Hey, what's up,
right.
Rainey?
We
Hey, thank you for that.
we found a way to beat the system, and now they're beating it back on us because they're angry that we beat them legally. Every time we beat them legally, then they try to change the game. In other words, it's just like, if we're running a track and field race and we beat them, they're going to say we jumped the gun or something like that, or they're going to say, oh, you stepped over the line back here. It's bullcrap. It's all bullcrap. And until people need to realize our government's been infiltrated with people who swear to uphold the Constitution but don't have a damn idea what the Constitution says, and they
Nope.
don't have a damn idea what it means to uphold and support the Constitution.
No, they
I've done
don't.
it at least 3 times in my life, and that's why I love this country, and I ain't going nowhere. But at the same time, I ain't shutting up till the
I
day
ain't
I
either.
die.
I won't either, man. That's what I love about this channel is, I we keep it. Normally, I like gun talk.
I
Man,
like
the
show and
Second
tell.
Amendment. Yeah, I know, but we're not allowed to do that now because
Yeah.
now it's like, oh no, oh my
Thanks,
God, the
you,
thing
boob.
might be up.
Thanks, you, boob. We're trying to educate people and help people and not commit crime, but how to be more safety
Prepared.
conscious and prepared, but safety conscious about firearms and the proper treatment of firearms and everything else. And YouTube, I guess, doesn't care about safety or anything else. They just care for their bullshit agenda, which is okay. If that's the way you're going to be, we'll spread it among ourselves, and we won't put you in the picture.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if they tried to confiscate them, there's not enough agents out there. And not to mention, was it Guns and Gadgets was just talking about this? Was it this morning or yesterday? Over 61% of the counties in America have their own, 2A preservation act. So
Right.
basically, none of them are going to help the government take guns away. Now, will there possibly be, the whole, we stand together or we hang separately? Are we going to see certain people probably getting tagged by government? Yeah, there's
Yeah.
always that chance. But as a whole, they're not going to be able to get enough of us. And I don't
Right.
care. I don't care if Biden comes out and threatens us with AR-15s and nukes. It's like, first of all, you're talking to the military, and the military has a duty to, you know, reject any unconstitutional order, right? So,
Right.
they might take that F-15 and fly it right up his fucking ass.
Yeah.
That would be
I don't even think it'd take that. We could do it with a drone. It wouldn't
fun.
be a hard target to run up his ass because he's a big ass.
Well, you got to keep in mind they probably got him in that underground bunker on life support.
Yeah, I don't know what to think sometimes. I don't know who's pulling his strings, but whoever the puppet master is so completely uninformed that it makes no sense what comes out of his mouth. And
Well,
you know, I also
I, I
wanted to mention. I wanted to mention that one of a patriot was killed. I think it's in Colorado. I was trying to find his name here. A good guy with a gun. There was a crazy guy took a gun, put a note up that he was going to go kill cops. Went and shot a cop. A good guy with a gun shot and killed the bad guy with a gun. The cop showed up and shot the good guy and killed him.
yes. Oh, yes, yes. And the guy happened to be black. Yep,
Yeah,
I remember that. Yes. But the cops
yeah,
showed up. They didn't know what the situation was. Poor communication between the police, whatever. Um, yeah, no, I heard about that. That was sad. But it's
right,
like my buddy, Good Luck America always says. It's like, dude, anytime you take an action like that to try and help government, you're taking your life into your own hands at that point.
right. Right. And then what was disturbing though was a tweet or something come out saying, "Oh, this guy was a right winger and he was a pro Second Amendment guy and he was pro weed and he was anti BLM and he was anti vaccination and so that's the guy that was the good citizen that tried to help the police officer that got killed."
Yeah.
So I
Hmm.
mean, they're trying to demonize. He wouldn't. we see a demonizing act going on for our beliefs. Well, I'll tell you what, you can demonize this because that's what I got to tell you. You got no right to impose your will on me or Ron or anybody else here.
Yeah.
That's not how America works. And you can slander us all you want. It's like water off a duck's back here because I got no more shits to give.
I want to say hello to Warsaw Yankee came in the chat. Pete the Patriot, or 300, as he's also better known as, and Billy. Good to see you all.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we were talking about what were we talking about? The patronizing.
We were talking about the gentleman being killed, and we've been talking about
Oh yes,
ATF rule changes and stuff.
yeah.
They're still taking comments on the 80% receivers, as far as I know.
Are they going to listen? I mean, do you think that? I mean, honestly, do you think they're even going to listen? They've already
They
got their
haven't.
minds.
We hammered them on the bump stock thing, and they went ahead and did it. Then it went to court.
Yep.
Now it's been overturned, but we're still waiting to hear what the fallout and the actual will be from it. Oh, and something else I'll bring up.
Because you got the Ninth Circuit over here upholding it, and the Sixth Circuit over here going, no, that's unconstitutional. I don't know where this is going to lie. Maybe they'll be legal in the South, but not in the North or California or whatever. I don't freaking know.
Right.
Dude, we might see. Dude, I have a feeling we're already seeing the separation of states. Now, it's not like all legal and stuff, but like people are flooding out of New York, people are flooding out of California. You know,
And then Buffalo gets a socialist mayor in New York. I mean, the people up there are kind of stunned, but it looks like nobody went out and voted, and the socialists won. So Buffalo will get what they deserve now. And something else.
Actually, no, because I've got a buddy up there. His name's goes by Bioxo,
Bioxo.
And there were only 3 options, and they were all freaking Democrat. They didn't even have a single Republican option. Granted, I don't believe in the whole 2-party system myself. I think it's bullshit, and it needs to be ended anyways. But,
So that was evil, or evil. Which one do you vote for there? There's no lesser evil. I mean, I don't know. Some people don't vote because they say you're either voting for evil or lesser evil, but you're still voting for evil. Well, I'd rather vote for lesser evil if a lot of their stuff aligns with my agreements, and we can put up with some of the rest of the stuff. But we can't affect change if we don't vote. That was my thing. But I wanted to point out. I just found out that the guy that was arrested for making the auto key card now has retired ATF agent Kelly on his side.
Good.
They've switched lawyers as well, but the woman that was doing the fundraiser on GoFundMe, the ATF paid her a visit, and I think they're wanting her to testify or something because something going on because they're trying to raise money for him because the ATF seized all of his assets, all of his computers and everything. And basically, I mean, you're sitting there, how can you defend yourself without assets? So people were doing a GoFundMe to help support him. I mean, the guy's selling a card with a part that really won't fit most of the
exactly. Yeah, without the right machinery and lathe, whatever, drills, there's no way you could even use it. I mean, it's just a funky looking thing.
Right. I mean, it's like saying, okay, we bought AK kits before that had all the full auto parts. We don't install them. The parts are sitting around. If we possess them now, are we breaking the law? You can't install them in the gun without drilling holes and making cuts and fitting other parts in. So that same way with this, it's a credit card looking piece of metal with a picture on it as a novelty of a way that the American people actually beat the system before they outlawed them too, to make their guns run a little faster.
Well, I told you about the time that that primer popped out of one of my rounds and freaking locked up my springs, and it did a 3 round burst on me without my
Right.
finger being on the trigger. Like
Oh, I got some
seriously,
reloads. I got some reloads wrong that they hadn't pushed the primers all the way in and didn't notice it. Loaded up a mag, and it fired every one of them. Burped it. It's like, what the hell? I got to looking at all the ammo. The primers had not been pushed fully in, so it was slam fired every one of them. You think that won't wake you up when you're expecting one shot? It's like, and it wasn't the gun; it was the ammo.
wow, yeah. I mean, it's something that simple.
Yep, something that simple. That's why I preach firearm safety, and knowing what you're doing, especially if you're reloading. If you don't know what you're doing, don't be doing it. If you don't know what you're
Yeah.
doing gunsmithing, don't be doing it. One wrong
Number
move
one,
can make your firearm
always
unsafe.
keep your gun. Always keep your gun pointed in a safe direction. Period. That's the number one rule, if you ask me. Always treat it as if it's loaded. Know your backdrop.
Oh, and I saved a bunch of tribal police officers' lives the other day. One of their officers came here with one of his guns and was showing it to me, and I noticed that he unloaded the gun, the pistol. He took the round that he caught and he stuck it back in the magazine. And after he let me look at the gun, he put it back in there and chambered the gun. And I told him, I said, unload that weapon again. You've got a problem. And so he did, and he pulled it out. And I said, give me that bullet that you just chambered that you put back in that mag and rechambered. And I showed him that bullet had gone down into that case over an eighth of an inch, shorter than all the rest. And I said, I guess you guys didn't get the memo years ago. It went out to supposed to gone out to all police agencies because police officers are bad about chambering around, clearing their weapon at the end of shift or whatever, put that round back in the top of the magazine. Well, if you chamber that round more than about once or twice, third or fourth time, it will push the bullet back. When it does that, it makes a high pressure cartridge that is unsafe to fire. And we had 2 Glocks in Alaska blew up. So
Wow.
I told him, I said, you need to go down there and tell your armorer there at the tribal police what I just showed you. And he had that bullet. So he went down there and I talked to him today. He said, we went in and checked all the weapons. And he said, you were 100% right. He said every one of the bullets had been pushed back in their weapons that first round. So they were going to change procedures on that and get some new ammunition as well.
Wow.
So that's a warning to other people. Don't keep chambering the same round over and over because it'll press that bullet back. And when you do that, it puts it below the minimum length and it goes in there and presses the powder. And
Yep.
you can get a real serious spike in pressure that can blow up your gun, especially handguns. There's not a lot there around the barrels and the chambers. So you have to
Yeah.
be careful. So I hope I helped out this group of law enforcement officers that didn't get the memo, and I hope others get the memo and spread the word. If you know police officers, that make sure you don't keep chambering that first round. It's a dangerous thing to do.
Wow. So it's better to just leave it in there then, huh?
Well, it's better to leave it in there or not chamber around and then chamber one when you bring it out of the holster because you can do it just as fast if you're quick with your hands. But I understand police officers and that, and I can understand chamber. But if you chamber that round, throw it in a box and use it for a practice round, and get a new round and put in there every time. You won't have that problem. Pretty soon you'll have a box of rounds to go to the practice range with, that aren't pushed back in, and you won't have to worry about it.
That's interesting. I've never heard that one before. Huh. I'll keep that in mind because I have been known to do that. I'll have to double check some of my rounds.
Yeah, look, if you've got a gun that you've chambered in and out, 99 times out of 100, that top round, you're going to look at it and say, oh my God, it's got pushed back and I didn't even realize it.
Huh.
Because, see, most pistols are made that bullet goes up and just kisses the lands and grooves. Well, every time it does, when you slam around in, it hits, and that little bit of play from the back of your receiver, the headspace, makes that round will just set back, set back, set back, and each time it's set back, it's getting higher pressure.
Hmm. Interesting. So, what do you think about some of these Democrat areas? They're going easy on the criminals. Like, well, I follow this one guy, Camden Company. He's over on Town Hall Media,
Mm-hmm.
and usually at the end of his show, he does like recidivism report, illegal illegal shooting, a citizen involved shooting, and anyways, so it's like these guys are getting busted with gun charges. Some of them are armed robbers. Some of them actually shot people. They go in, they spend maybe a year, maybe two, and then they're back out on the streets on parole. Then they break their parole, and then they end up killing somebody. Okay? But when that happens, what do? They blame guns and legal gun owners. Why is that?
Well, because it's to cover their ass for their revolving door justice system. It's a cash cow. And like I ran into as a law enforcement officer, if somebody that I arrested was a crackhead, didn't have any income, didn't have a job, they're going to turn them loose on the street. But if I arrested somebody that maybe had a good job and a family and all and made a mistake, you know, and it wasn't that big of a mistake, they'd hammer them. They might not put them in jail more than long enough to get bonded out, but when they went to court, they'd put them on 3 or 4 or 5 years probation that cost you money every month, and that funds the wheels of justice. And but that's what I see as part of it. It's a cash cow money making thing. Um, the same as uh, we know we need highway traffic safety, but speeding tickets fund a lot of police departments in a lot of cities.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Revenue control. Yep.
Yeah. It's all about the money, people. It's all about the money. Our whole society is money based. If you look at everything, money, and then electronic money, and and now China has outlawed Bitcoin mining in their country. So all these guys are trashing their computers and stuff because China outlawed Bitcoin mining, which is going to change the whole Bitcoin market, which I won't get no part of it. Sorry. If I can't see it and I can't hold it and it's up on my computer screen, it's just like y'all believing I'm real.
I don't know. I never really bought into the whole
It's
virtual money.
phony. It's phony. It's like playing
If you
Monopoly.
can't, my motto is if you can't hold it and touch it, possess it, hey, you don't own it.
Well, my motto was that it looked to me like somebody was doing an experiment to get people to accept it so that we can get away from a cashless society. But then, like when those guys got the ransom and the FBI was able to track that Bitcoin after 60 some transactions and find where it was sitting, they
Mhm.
went in and took it back.
Most of it.
Wake
I don't know if they
up,
got it all
people.
back.
Wake they got the majority of it, but wake up, people. That tells you that if you go with electronic money, the government with one push of the button can wipe you out and you got nothing because you can't hide Bitcoin under your mattress or in your little wall
Mhm.
safe.
Yeah,
They can
and
wipe you out if it's
basically,
digital.
if the electric goes down, you lose everything.
Yeah. If you can't access it, your internet goes down. EMP pulse. It could be a giant solar storm. Could be any of that. I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, foam. Yeah, you're right. I know. Even Henry Ford was involved in that crap back in the World War II, selling jeeps and trucks to both sides. I know. Hey, Karma. No, I'm doing all right. All these
All right,
papers.
I'm back.
Good news, bad news, no news.
No news, just a friend checking on me. It's nice to have people that care.
Right on. That's my 401k went. I'm on fix it now. Could be better later. Hey, what's up, farmer's son? F-15s. I've got mine on layaway.
I really don't think I would need a nuke, but I'll tell you what, one AC 130 fully loaded could ruin a bunch of people's day.
I don't think we're gonna see it happen.
Yeah. The numbers are too great. That's why I say I deal in math.
Well,
There's less than
I know that the Arizona audit they were saying yesterday is supposed to be done today, which means that probably within the next week you're probably going to start seeing some of the results trickling out. I don't know if they're going to wait and just do like a huge press conference or something like that and just be like, this is what we found, what we know, and let the senators and Congress figure out what we're going to do from now on. I
hmm
mean, we've got to change the way we vote, period, or we're never going to have an honest election ever again.
right. And now Georgia changed their election way they do elections, and now the Department of Justice is suing them.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Hey,
well, that just happened. That happened when they started the audit down here. You had all the Democrats coming out. Well, you can't do this. This is
right.
it's like too bad you're outvoted. You just shut
Hey,
up.
federal government. Hey, federal government. Haven't you read the Constitution Bill of Rights about states' rights? States'
Hmm.
rights. We're 50 states out here and some territories. You're kind of just the overseer, but we're on our own out here doing our thing under our laws and our rules and our regulations. And you can regulate two things, and one of them was slipped in there that shouldn't be done either. And one of them is interstate commerce, and the other is supposed to be international trade. So um, you're supposed to secure our borders. You're not doing it, so you're failing miserably in your job. You're attacking our Second Amendment rights, so you're failing miserably at being limited like you're supposed to be. And you better start waking up and paying attention because the American people number in the millions, and we're getting tired of it. We're getting tired of backed in a corner. And if you don't start having some common sense, then you're going to reap the what you sow. I was taught that a long time ago.
Well, you bring up a good point there, Moose. I mean, how is it that I can go online and I can order ammo from pretty much any site, even out of country? I mean, I've ordered the wolf ammo, and it's shipped over. Um, and I can get it in my state, but if you go just in one state over, California, you can't. They've already got it banned.
Right.
You
And I guess,
literally.
I guess our government didn't take a lesson from uh, the alcohol prohibition of the 20s.
Right. That's
Here's
good.
a perfect example. You can't tell the people they can't have something. We gonna get it. If we
Yep.
can't get it, we gonna make it. If we
Yep.
can't make it, we're gonna go find a way of somebody that is making it and get it anyway. And it did nothing but cause crime. It caused it caused
Yep.
useless laws to be created because of something the government did, and then they had to go in and change that. Well, it's been the same way with drugs. Look at marijuana's been around since before I was a kid, and that's a long time. And they do some stupid movie called Reefer Madness to turn everybody's opinion. Yet
I know. I
in
saw
the
that.
50s and 60s, the marijuana usage started going up, up, up. Now we've got states that's got it legalized, even though the federal government stupidly still keeps it as a class 1 narcotic. Now we're seeing researchers are discovering that it kills cancer, it cures cancer, it helps with a number of ailments. It was given out by the University of Mississippi for glaucoma, and I was surprised to hear that Hawk had the original strain of that because I've seen that before. I'd seen their facility, and I knew a friend that was on their program got that weed that they created. So, and that was years ago, back in the 70s. But they keep doing the war on drugs, and it's failed. I mean, it's failed miserably over the years.
Yep. Yep. Always
Um,
has. It always
and
has.
and then we go over to Afghanistan, and we run the Taliban out of Afghanistan, who had stopped the opium poppy production. So now the Afghans are back growing opium poppies, and guess what? Our streets are flooded again with heroin, and then we're getting the fentanyl, which I think that's coming through Mexico, but I don't know which Chinese company is bringing it in.
Yep.
But it's just a sad state of affairs. And then we've got homeless people. Our government gives money to all these other foreign countries. Well, if you think them foreign countries are getting that money,
No,
you
no,
got
it's
no
going.
clue.
No, no. You
It's
know,
it's
it's going
circling
in.
back. It's
It's going
circling
in the
back.
like. What do they call that? A slush fund, where it
It's
goes over
circling.
there, gets put into a fund, and then it goes to grease the politicians.
It's
Yep.
circling back. It's circling
Yep.
right back from the politicians from that country. They take a cut out of it and send it right back to some offshore bank account.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, if the money crashes, poor people like most of us aren't going to be the ones that suffer. It's going to be all the rich people in that because they're the ones that's going to have more to lose than us poor people out here trying to just stay alive and keep food in our bellies and keep our bills paid, keep our cars running and afford gas to go back and work if you're working and go to the doctor and stuff like that, and to be able to buy a few extra things for the house or be able to call a plumber when something breaks. Um, they're the ones that's going to lose, though. All these millionaires and billionaires, if the money crashes, they were the ones that jumped out of the windows at Wall Street in 1929. It's going to be real interesting to see now.
Yeah. No,
Hey,
I,
Hobo, good to see you, brother.
I know it's been a while, man. That's what I was trying to say a minute ago. It's been a few
Yeah,
minutes.
I
It's been a
thought he
while.
might be in jail again or something. I'm glad he's
I,
not.
dude, I thought about that too, but I remember he got that new job, so he's
Yeah,
a working man.
yeah, man. He goes to doing that to the cops, and it sets them off. So I wished I had I should run a course on how to be nice to a police officer and basically to tell him to go fuck himself where he thanks you for it. But there's ways of doing that.
Oh man. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Good to see you, brother. Man, can you all get over what Biden said? Gee, you need F-15s and nukes. Oh my god, dude. Okay, fine then. You know what? We'll get them. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Like you were saying, Moose.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I get healed up from this cancer, I got a shop. I can start building some stuff. All I need some raw materials. Never thought about trying to build an F-15.
Yeah, I'm not an aircraft mechanic myself, so I guess do you start at the wheels or at the wings?
Actually,
I
you
don't
start at the wings and the fuselage first. Because actually, I was helping my stepdad was building his own single pilot aircraft, experimental aircraft, and you started by cutting out, the sheet metal and forming the aluminum wing spars, and then uh, uh, wrapping the aluminum sheet over them and drilling holes and putting in your click rivets to line everything up before you started riveting, and then you come along with your pop riveter and started riveting. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know what happened to that kit he was building. He must have sold it or something before he died because I hadn't seen it in years. But um, God rest his soul, he never did get it finished. Mom was hoping he would because she had a good life insurance policy on
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be.
him. It's all right. I'm trying to make a joke here. We got to keep the people laughing to keep them crying. Laughter's the best medicine, and I need a lot of it right now.
Yeah, got your AMP.
Trying to
Yeah.
think of what other items are in the news that are noteworthy. That Florida building collapse. Well, that was a shame, but the engineer come out and I looked at some of the pictures and stuff. Apparently, they had big cracks at the pool, and it was actually leaking water underneath. And he said that the pool wasn't installed correctly, and that building had an underground parking structure that was flooded with water, and the building had been cracking and popping. Well, when you get a building that's built up so many stories and it's built on girders and they're riveted and concrete's poured for your floors and everything, and they've been working on the roof supposedly. A lot of those buildings have an asphalt and stone roof. They haul gravel up there, and I don't know if they've done it yet or not, but it was, I don't know if they were bringing the materials up because somebody said they were working on the roof, and they lay down hot asphalt and roll that rock on there for a protected roof. But
Mm-hmm.
when you've got a building like that that's sitting and the ground starts sinking underneath and something starts going
Yep.
down here, there's only so
Well,
much stress all those rivets can take before they start fracturing inside. They may not even pop the heads off; they'll be
one
fractured.
one of the one of the reports I saw, um, well, the thing had been there 40 years, and actually
Yeah,
40 years was the time when they'd have to go in and inspect it to see if it needs remodel. And he said the thing had been dropping about 3 centimeters every fucking year,
right. And
from the
it
ground
was
level because it
and
was built
three
on sand. I mean,
three
come on,
years.
that's a biblical parable. You
Yep.
don't build your house on sand. I mean, granted, we build ours on dirt, but we got a concrete around it, or under it.
Right. Florida is sand and limestone. And that inspector had been there 3 years ago and recommended to the building owner that it be, worked at. And then he went in though and saw that there was exposed rebar. Okay. So you've got exposure on the beach to salt air. You've got salt. You've got wind. Now you've got hurricane winds too. Now a building that size is not going to stand there like a mountain and let the wind blow. That building moves with the wind to a certain
Mhm.
extent. And when the wind
Supposed
gets over about 40 to 50 miles an hour, you've got hundreds of thousands of pounds per square foot of
Mhm.
energy pushing on that building. It weakens the structure. And if I recall right, when that building was built was when we were getting the influx of Chinese steel because our steel mills in Pennsylvania had been shut down, and we were starting to get Chinese steel in this country. And there's a lot of buildings built with Chinese steel, which was made up of old Studebakers, Ramblers, and all melted together and formed into beams. So I mean, they don't even know what the steel composition of that stuff is. It was all put together. I tried to weld some of that stuff, and it's
Yeah.
not pretty. So, but when I looked and I saw what happened was the very top of it collapsed. So if that top, let's just say that top piece on that top floor weighed 10 tons. When it broke free and came down, it hit the other floor, which was not made to support directly on it and it take an impact of 10 tons. So now you
Mm.
got 20 tons. It drops to the next one. Now you got 30 tons. Now you got 40 tons right down to the ground. It just boom, 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 and it accelerates as it goes because of the more weight. And that's why you see the destruction. There was no bomb, there was no explosion.
Well, I
What we
don't know, man.
have is critical building failure, building material failure from lack of maintenance, for one,
Yeah.
and it possibly because they were designed and built the cheapest way with the minimal amount of steel and rivets and welding. You don't even know about the concrete. You don't even know about the rebar that they used, how much. And those people living there said they heard the building popping and cracking and creaking and all and filed complaints about it. You wouldn't have caught me living there. Ain't no way. I'm down the road. But I understand people have to live somewhere, and I feel sorry for those people. Our prayers go out to every one of the families
Yeah.
and
Amen.
missing people, and I pray they find more people. It's just not looking good. Um, God help them all, because this is a real tragedy because they're innocent people, you know.
They are. Yeah. And I mean, 40-year-old building, you're probably going to get cheaper rent, makes it easier, and like I was going to say, because we've got some really tall buildings out here. So, well, not quite, I guess you call them skyscraper. And those things are sitting on springs. And it's weird because
Right?
on a windy day, you can actually see the thing shifting and moving and hear the springs crunching. And it's
Yep.
like, what the hell? I don't
It
think
was
that
the
thing had any kind of springs on it.
No, the Japan. It was the Japanese that invented those springs and hydraulic dampener cylinders to support buildings during earthquakes and earth removal. The problem with Florida is Florida has no solid rock. It's sand and limestone. And then you underneath the ground, I mean, only 20, 30 feet down, a lot of places or less, you've got water. You've got water runs all underneath Florida. And some years it will dry out with the drought. And then when the rains come, you get sinkholes. There's a lot of sinkholes been opening up in Florida lately, too. So, and the groundwater, now that the water's back up, you can see these sinkholes, and the water's only down about 8 feet in the ground.
Yeah.
So, I watched another channel the other day that showed this woman's got one in her backyard, and she's got a small one, and it goes over to a bigger one that takes up several acres of her neighbor's property. So, yeah, I mean,
Wow.
if they didn't,
That's
even if
crazy.
they drove pillars down into the limestone, I live on limestone and clay here in southeast Oklahoma. I can take you to houses that have 4 and 6 inch thick concrete slabs that are busted all to hell because the ground moves with what wet and dry periods. The ground cracks here, and the concrete cracks. Well, that's the same thing that happens in Florida.
Mm, that's crazy. Nikki says that it's Surfside and it's pretty expensive.
Oh
And you
yeah,
wouldn't think at 40, dude, I mean, all right, 40-year-old building, if
they're
they were
still.
charging that much money to live there,
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't have been maintaining the crap out of that thing.
it's on Miami Beach, and the owner is greedy. They're a corporation, and they're trying to make all the money they can. And I'll bet you couldn't rent one of those condos or apartments for probably cost 1,200 a month minimum for a small one. Nicky probably make no more, but Florida, that's pretty expensive because Florida's lower on wages a lot of times. And at least it was when I've been there. I haven't been there in quite a while to see.
I don't know about that one, Hondo. I mean, like the inspectors that had come out in the past had already said,
No,
look,
no,
yeah,
no, God dang. I hate these conspiracy theory bullshit when it ain't happening. Come on, man. No, that's some bogus information out there pie in the sky. There was no explosions. There's pictures of what happened. It was a materials failure. I hate bullshit. Please. I should get on rants with Rogers about this. I'd win.
some famous YouTuber moved next door to me. Okay. Yeah, I mean, how long is it going to take them to dig those people out? Because, I mean, if the ground is unstable, like they're saying, I mean, like, jeez. I don't know, man.
No,
Yeah.
2,500 a month for tiny ones. Whoa. Well, that's a lot of dough.
Wow. That is
See,
a
I don't
pretty
believe in.
penny.
I'm one that doesn't believe in renting. I buy. It's cheaper to buy
Yeah.
than it is to rent and give somebody else money.
I know. You know, where I'm stuck, I have a lot rent. At least the house is paid off.
Well, yeah, but you're on somebody else's land. If they tell you to get the hell out, well, at least you can hook onto your home and tow it somewhere, right?
Well, this been here 30 some odd years. It's got concrete on both sides. Granted, yeah, it's still got the trailer underneath it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well, at
yeah,
least you ain't married and get a divorce where your wife takes your house and leaves with it. She took my house and left. It was a mobile home.
yeah. Well,
Well,
in this case, I'd probably just ditch the mobile home and just get a new home.
yeah,
But like you said, I like to buy outright too. My vehicles. I'm trying to remember if I don't think I've ever leased a vehicle in my lifetime. I've always paid straight out cash for everything.
yeah. I've made payments before, but I've never owned a brand new vehicle because, and I never will now at the price of them. They want more
Yeah.
for a new truck now than what we paid for 9 acres with a house and a shop and a pond on it with electricity, sewer, and water and phone. So yeah, I mean it's crazy what they want for the price of a new vehicle. And I heard now there's a lot of new vehicles that aren't even coming off the production line because they can't get the computer chips for them because Taiwan ain't making the computer chips.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. There's a stadium I want to say in Texas that they're just parking all these trucks there because until they get those chips in, they can't sell them. It's crazy. Yeah.
Somebody screwed up somewhere.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you where they screwed up is starting to outsource all of our production overseas. Everything
Right.
should be made right here in the United States. Everything made for America should be American made right here by us and not rely on anybody else for any of the technology or any of that crap. But
Right.
we've had too many corrupt people in the way, and not just politicians, but businessmen and everything else, man. Amber
Another
Alert.
child abduction. Yeah, another child abduction alert down in Texas. I get about one or two a week. Them people steal children down there like the crackheads steal air conditioners here.
Ah, some good iced tea. Ah,
Yeah. Yeah,
hey,
just in
Phoenix.
time inventory is awesome till the supply chain craps the bed. You're right, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that commercial how they were used to say, "Oh, we're running our business. We'll drop the part in FedEx. It'll be there tomorrow, so your plant can keep going. And every day we'll get a shipment of parts, so your plant can keep going tomorrow." Well, now you close. The plane ain't flying. There ain't no parts. I'm surprised they don't have a big sale at Ford. Buy one, install your own computer.
No doubt, right? What's
Yeah,
up? Gee,
yeah,
half price, man.
yeah. Oh, less than half price since you can't get the chip and everything else. Well, we'll just sell you a truck that don't run, but here you can have it for say $15,000 and get them off our lot, and then it's up to you to get them running. Well, I'd probably get to work busy and call one of my buddies that's experts in that stuff, and we'd figure us a way around that stuff and put a distributor in it or whatever and get it cracking.
Well, that sounds wow. I wonder if I could get on the ground floor on that one
Ooh,
because
the
I'm
chip
interested.
market. Yeah. It won't be chocolate chips. It's too hot.
Yeah, no doubt, right? They would be melting like crazy. They always say M&Ms they melt in your mouth, not in your hands. Not
Not in
if you're
Arizona.
not in 110-degree weather at the pool.
Yeah.
They melt
Oh,
anywhere and everywhere.
And how about the big heat wave bubble that's up along our Pacific Northwest, all the way up around Virginia roots and down to Oregon and all that? They're in the 100 to 115-degree range, all up in Oregon and
Wow.
Northern California and Washington State. They're breaking all kinds of records. This is the weatherman said it happens once every 1,000 years. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, if it happens once every 1,000 years, then it's happened before, and it's happened before, and it's happened before. But it's
Yeah.
this La Nina current is building that big. It's a big omega wave they call it of heat that's stuck right up there, and it's going to be up there for the next few days. So if you're up there, make sure you hydrate good, and you may not have air conditioner because a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest don't have air
No,
conditioning.
yeah, they're not used to temperatures like that.
But stay in the shade, stay out of the sun, use sunblock, and get fans if you can. There'll probably be a run on fans at Walmart and Home Depot.
Oh yeah. Damn it. My damn tonight is kicking in. Either
Yeah, I
that or
have that
somebody's
one.
talking shit about me.
Yeah, well, that's an everyday occurrence.
Yeah, I know. I don't
Same
care.
here. Yeah.
You know, it's all behind my back anyway, so what do I care?
Oh, what's my thoughts about Chris McCandless that went into the wild? I actually wasn't too far away from where he went into the wild. Chris McCandless was an idiot, plain and simple. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know his area. He didn't have food sources up there enough to be able to survive. He was too far out off the beaten path to get help, and they're even lucky that somebody found his body during hunting season. Uh,
Wow.
he had no knowledge of the local plants or what was edible, what wasn't edible. He had no he had water, I guess, but not a good fish source that far up from where he was he was out in the tundra too. For God's sake, there's much better places to go. You want to be on a river that has fish. You want to be able where there's a lot of caribou and moose if you're going to survive up there because you need that all those fats to survive. And you've got to go in there with some other kind of supplies like rice and beans, if nothing else, and then try
Hmm.
to learn the local fauna for what greens and stuff, what mushrooms to eat, and what if you can find berries and stuff. You better know the right berry because a high bush cranberry looks similar to a bearberry, but if you eat bearberries, you're going to get sick. So yeah, he was what we call in
Unprepared.
Florida dumb.
He was unprepared for that journey, huh?
Yeah, he was completely unprepared. No, that's not the one that ended up as scat. That was the guy on a Kodiak that was in there living amongst the bears and didn't think they'd eat him. And the bears ate him. I mean, they found that tent and it was a soft outside with a crunchy inside.
That's fucked up, dude.
No, it's the truth. I mean, you don't go in bear country with no gun and no way to protect yourself and expect to live among the bears and not become a gourmet meal for them.
When did all this go down?
Oh gosh, this has been years back in Alaska. I was up there for that one too. Um, these nature boys, they think they can go live out in nature with the bears, and would have been back in the '90s and stuff. Most of this stuff happened.
Okay.
Some of it happened in the '80s, but most of it was in the '90s. And you do stupid stuff, you win stupid prizes.
Well, Larry, hold on. I want to address Larry's. Intel is also building 2 chip factories in Arizona for like 20 billion. That sounds about right. I worked at a company. We did rigging and crating, and the Intel was one of our big one of our big contractors. We were subcontracted, but um, I mean, I got to travel around. I got to help them build some of the new buildings. They have plants all over Arizona. Intel has a really deep root. Hell, even when Obama was the president, he went and visited. And and it was kind of funny because, well, funny, yeah, but it was funny because he was there to give Intel like a presidential plaque or something because they're building so many jobs. Yet for the 3 days that they had to shut down the plant so the president could visit, everybody stayed home unpaid. So I mean, it's like a big kick in the balls right there. It's like, oh yeah, the president's gonna come. Great. All right. So I can't cover my rent this week.
Yeah. That's like we had people got sick in Alaska. They didn't know the difference between a real morel and a false morel. And a false morel will
Oh,
kill you. The real morel, I mean, I can tell them the difference on them right away. And that's like some people didn't know the difference between a fly amanita and a buttercup. So you got to know your mushrooms if you're going to eat them, especially. And I stuck to like
mm,
three main ones in Alaska. You got to know your berries. You got to know your plants and your resources.
I
But
wouldn't
yeah,
mind getting
these
stuck out. I wouldn't mind getting stuck out in the wild with Nikki.
well, at least you wouldn't have to feed her. I told Nikki I was driving out my driveway. I had to go pick up a bunch of supplies for Red the other night, and I was driving out my driveway and I have it mowed here. I got all kind of plants growing up. I thought, man, I've got a lifetime supply of food here for Nikki.
That's all right. She can go pick out the berries. I'll go out and I'll shoot the livestock.
I got a lot of yarrow growing here too. We got a lot of yarrow came up this year, and big grasses and winter wheat, and I've got the wild persimmon trees, and but
Now,
we've got that
Larry,
stuff Nikki grows in her yard too.
now Moose has not gotten it yet. He's still going through more processes, and it's just one big freaking delay after another, and it needs to end.
Okay, I'll update everybody. I am scheduled Tuesday morning, the 29th of June, to have my next CAT scan with and without the dye. It's going to be one of them nasty ones. They inject all that crap through me and take my picture of my lower end. We're going to shoot that image and that disc over to the doctor at UT Southwestern in Dallas. He's going to look, the surgeon's going to look at that, decide if he can do the surgery and what kind of a surgical team to assemble, and contact me, hopefully, with a date for surgery. The logistics are a bit difficult because of being 4 hours away and going to have to make trips back and forth. But I'm working those details out, as best I can, and I'll know more hopefully within in the next week. I'm hoping that he gets the disc and it works pretty quick to my advantage. But I've got the best surgeon, I think, in at least the southern United States, if not maybe one of the premier surgeons in the country, from what I gather, that people come from all over the world for him to operate on. He's that well respected. So
Good.
he's like that airline pilot that flies every day. This is the surgeon that does these surgeries almost every day. So um, from what I gathered, he's got thousands of these surgeries under his belt. That's the guy I want, not the guy that's got done 20 of them with no
Yep.
complications. I want the guy that's got thousands of them that may have run into the problem that I have now, having my colon repaired when I was supposed to have the surgery, and now them having to deal with scar tissue in there from that. So I'm optimistic. I'm doing the best I can. I don't feel good. I don't feel right. My body's telling me that something is wrong, and that's kind of scary. But I'm going to push through this best I can and face every challenge. Thank you all for your support, your care, your kindness, and your love, and your prayers. Thank you.
You bet, brother.
Y'all rock. But
My
top spin, don't be talking about cops if you're out there, because I'm still, don't make me come over there.
we might be getting disabled vets on here if his internet is up to it. You remember Alex, right?
Alex.
Alex, the disabled vet's perspective.
Mm, I don't know. There's so many people out there now, my mind gets confused, and that's hard to do.
And Hobo's prize moose just doesn't attach his growth. One of his 50 cows and take care of it himself. I'm sorry, I don't believe.
Well, if that was doable, I would, but I can't stick a 50 cal up my butt and
Oh,
squeeze the trigger.
yeah, and I'm not pulling that trigger either.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no. I don't even want that picture in my brain because that thing's got a tank flash hider on it that big.
All right, no, this is actually a green screen. I wish I had this room. I mean, I probably let's see. I've got something like that. I've got something like. Let's see, what else do I got? Hold on. Let me see.
That one does look more realistic than the rest of them, though.
See, no, no. See, my room looks totally different. Like, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I still got, rifles and shotguns on my wall.
Yeah.
But
In
yeah,
Yankee
this one.
Watchdog, where you say there's a will, there's a way. Well, I've written out my will. Red gets everything, so there's a way.
No, it's not
She's
rare
gonna
to
be
see
one
it.
happy woman. If I go, she's gonna be one happy woman.
No, she won't.
Well,
I
she
may
will
have
when the
to.
money comes in from the collections.
Yeah, I may have to move out there and
But
help her out, spend that money.
yeah, well, you need to come out here and bring a lot of cash when if I go for the big auction of you know what.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I'll just
It'll
talk
be
to
an
Rick.
emporium. It'll be an emporium. It'll be the likes of nobody's ever seen before. I got tools. Man, I got tools. I got tools stacked on tools. I got more tools. I got freedom seeds. If you want to grow a garden, we got every seed imaginable.
Yeah,
Uh,
Nikki. Yeah, I know, right? Her dungeon looks way different than mine.
I lost my boat in a gun accident. I love that.
Yeah.
Yep, tools to fix tools. Aaron better drive down here with a big ass trailer if he wants a lathe and a milling machine, because he's gonna be on his own. I ain't gonna be able to work for him anymore if something happens.
It'll be
No,
about 10 o'clock. Guardsman, same as always.
I got to joke around, Ron. It keeps me, you know, it keeps my mind off my problems,
I
and
got
I
you.
just try to focus in a different direction. And and
measuring author NPL or NPK.
Like what
Really?
the penis
You
said to
want
the condom. Hey, Ron, it's
you
like
want a
what the
foreign?
penis said to the condom. Cover me, I'm going in.
Nikki, I
I'm
don't even
not
want to
claiming.
know. Yeah, you got it, Blaine.
Aaron and I are testing out the new flash hiders for AR-15s and AR-10s, and they have a threaded section on the outside. So if you get
Want to
like
put it?
a silencer
No,
coast suppressor or something on them, they're ready. But they're really neat the way they're designed, and they've got holes in the bottom, so you want the top where it'll flash out the bottom, but on the top they're solid, so it keeps it from blowing up into your sight pattern. So it comes out the sides and out the bottom. So they're really neat. Um, a neat design. I just hope they're made. They appear to be made solid enough by the company. So
doesn't that?
we're
Wouldn't
gonna be.
that?
Hmm?
If there's no release from the top, wouldn't that create more of a rise when you fire it?
Well, they're small holes. They're just gas release out the bottom, so they're small holes. But the main
Oh.
blast is out each side. So
Hey, what's up, Alex?
howdy.
What's happening there, hot stuff? How are you?
Yeah.
Hanging in there.
Yep.
As long as it's not by a noose, I guess that's okay.
Right.
Yeah, or by your testicles.
Well, indeed.
No, it's not a noose. It's a pole chain.
I got my Biden 2020 shirt on, so that helps. There.
Whoever, huh?
Yeah, we were discussing.
Whatever.
We were discussing about his threat to the American citizens the other day.
I'm wearing my Alaska Tribes shirt tonight.
Oh, about him wanting to nuke us?
Yep.
Right on.
Playbook right out of Swallowwell's book.
Yeah, well,
right?
Well, he didn't say he wanted to nuke us. He said we needed a nuke to get him.
Right. Hello, Mayor. Hello, everyone. Yeah, well, here's a funny thing. People like myself, veterans, there are still active duty people that love this country, and they're the same ones that actually have all the buttons to push themselves. These idiots in government believe that it's just going to be Billy Joe and Jim Bob from around the street there that are going to mosey on in there with their AR or their 30-06 and do some deer shooting. It's if they come after the people, they're going to lose at least 75% of the military, which in itself is a pretty sad number, because that means 35 or 25% of the military is going to be on their side. And that's how many woke son of a bitches there are in uniform. But if they lose 75% of their military right off the bat,
yep,
they're not exactly going to have the upper hand.
No, they're not.
Because,
and not to mention, Alex, how many of those military would be like, you want us to do what with these F-15s? How about we take this thing and fly it up your fucking ass?
And Alex, I think you'll agree with me.
Right, sideways.
The U.S. military numbers is about 2.5 million. But out of that 2.5 million, there's only about 1 million are actually combat troops. The rest are support staff, cooks and mechanics and aircraft mechanics and paperwork pushers and officers and all that stuff and MPs.
Right.
So you don't have but maybe 1 million, active combat type troops. The rest of it's mainly dependent on warfare now with the drone flyers and your Navy ships with all their computer controls and stuff.
Mhm.
But you
Right.
factor in that we've got 30 million deer hunters in the United States. Now, a deer hunter is a guy that takes a high-powered rifle, goes out and camouflage, and is able to hide from a deer and harvest his meat every year. You can basically call them a United States sniper.
Right.
They
Yeah,
know
because
how to
if you miss,
blend
you go
in.
hungry. So you,
Right. So we got 30 million deer hunters who are trained, armed people that know how to shoot, and we've got 1 million combat soldiers. Do the math, Joe.
right. Yeah, well, I mean, there's also people like me. I can still jump behind the wheel or the behind the tracks of anything that rolls, slithers, or moves in the military, and I can drive it like I drove it yesterday.
Yep.
So, if they want to come at me with a piece of military equipment, I'll say thank you very much for your donation, and
No
then
doubt,
it's
right?
mine,
Right.
and it goes the other way.
And I'm the arms expert. I can operate any of the arms that they've got up into, shoulder fired missiles and stuff. I know how to operate all that stuff. So any of their small weaponry. Donations are
Yeah,
gladly accepted.
yeah. I was licensed to. They,
I don't know, man. I put my F-15 on layaway, but I think it's going to take me about 30 or 40 years to pay it off.
that's actually pretty good if you think about it. That's a hell of a mortgage.
Yep. I think I'd rather have an F-16 or an F-18 though.
Yeah, but the thing is, the government right now is so ignorant. They're like ignorant as pig shit anyway. They're operating in in these illusions of grandeur that they think that they have all this power and all this support, and
Yep.
it is literally a propped up illusion created by the mainstream media and big tech. They don't have
Yep.
support. If the people just got
No.
downright tired of it and said, "Okay, let's go get them out," they would be out. There's not a damn thing they could do about it.
Well, I mean, yeah, a good example would be like today. The president came out, the real president came out today and did a speech down there in Ohio. And still he's getting, 25, 30,000, 35,000 people showing up. Uh, they're like, we know the truth. The people know the damn truth. We were ripped off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
But there's a lot of us
Hello,
that
Ing in
still
Arizona.
know, we
And
still
see,
know.
everybody's got their panties in a wad over this whole deal. And that's why I tell people back off, relax, watch, wait, see what happens because there are people that are working that on this that are higher power. We do still have a federal elections committee that's investigating all this stuff and everything else. But we don't need to go on the offensive. We need to be defensive. We need to be prepared. Logistics. Get your
Right.
house in order. Get your shit together. And it should have been being done a long time ago because now with prices are rising, I go to the store that's supposed to be stocked on Thursday. Their trucks mysteriously haven't made it in, and I mean I can't get 4 packages of cookies that I like because they're that's all there is on the shelf. It's starting to tell me that
Right. Yeah. In our
to be
Walmart,
aware.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like our Walmart just had another what they're calling a change shortage. They didn't have any coin change. That's just a horseshit. Right now in Iraq, they kicked the central banks out and they went to Iraqi currency. They went to their national currency, and that's happened in a couple other states already. It's getting ready to happen here. So all these little
Iran's
signs of banks closing, you know, I forget which bank it was. I just saw
Iran's
ago, and they
money has
closed
tanked now.
48 branches. So we're getting ready to go back to the treasury bills.
Iran's money has tanked now. It
Hmm?
costs between $200 and $400 a pound for hamburger in Iran.
What was it?
$200 to $400 a pound in Iran for hamburger because Iran's money has tanked now. You can't afford to go buy
Yeah.
but maybe one banana or one cup of rice because their money has tanked now. Iran's cash,
Yep.
it takes them a wheelbarrow full to go do anything now. But yet, all the mullahs they got over there are keeping these billions of dollars that were sent to them after they um,
Yeah.
after what's his name gave them all that money because they blackmailed
Billions,
him.
not billions, millions of it. Yeah, pallets full. Fucking asshole.
Right.
Whatever it was a lot of cash. It was cash that our veterans
Yeah.
could
Can
have
you
used.
imagine hauling a wheelbarrow of $100 bills? Oh yeah.
Hell, at
Yeah,
that point, it'd probably be better to start a fire with it.
yeah.
Right.
I can see wheelbarrowing around cases of ammunition, but that's about it.
Yeah. God, that'd be a hell of a
Right.
job.
The real currency.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling that for the meantime, I mean, once the real depression kicks in and everybody realizes it, yeah, dude. I mean, gold and silver, yeah, they're still gonna have some value, but it's gonna take a while before it really gets its value back. You know what I mean?
Well, it'll be
Yeah.
a trade good. It won't be if the dollar crashes and it's not based on the dollar, it has no value anymore. It's what I explain to people. It will then only become good if somebody will trade you something for it.
Yep.
And it would be months and months before you'd set up an economy like that because it would be more likely that stuff like alcohol, tobacco, fuel, those are going to be trade items, flour, yeast, things of that
Right.
nature, rice, those are going to be trade items. Ammunition is going to be a big one. Guns going to be a big one because those that ain't got guns are going to be looking for guns.
Right. And they'll be willing to take yours from you if you're not prepared.
Yeah.
Well, they can die trying. So I got to tell
Yeah.
them.
It'll sting a bit. It's going to be coming pretty hot and fast.
Now, I'm lucky I live in an area where we've got each little house, we know the people, and they're all set up, and everybody's kind of set up to guard in a certain area here. We're scattered out where we can keep in close contact with each other, but we're far enough apart that we've got, shooting ranges, basically, clear ranges around us to see anybody coming from whatever direction. And so our people here are
Yeah.
country people. They're all hunters. They're all excellent shots, and we're not going to play around. We're not going to play around.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that Yankee. Yeah, he traded 18.
I'm trying to get my.
What, 18 or 16?
I had to reset everything to come on here.
Yeah, I went ahead and turned my camera off to try and lower some of the bandwidth so you guys could come through a little bit clearer.
Yeah, mine might be breaking up too because I'm on OkiNet and it's horrible till they get us some high speed in here. But I'm here.
So what's going on
Mine
your
just
side?
purely sucks.
How's that boat coming along? Alex?
Yes, I'm here. I'm getting hit and miss. My signal's just absolutely dog shit.
Been like
How's
that
the
across
boat?
the country, it seems.
Trying to see if I can do something to straighten it up. Yeah. Well, mine used to be real good, and then, they started slowing it down more and more. Now I get 3 days of internet a month, but I pay almost $200. The rest of the time,
geez.
and that's just, it's like most of the month, all it does is buffers and does all that stupid crap, and it's hard to do anything.
Has anyone else noticed that the comments in YouTube videos that you put up, where you can go under the video and write a comment, the wheel just sits there and spins? I've noticed it on dozens of people's videos where I
Oh yeah,
can't go in and comment now. It's like YouTube shut off the ability to comment on people's videos. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but I have.
right. Well, they're getting ready to shut the whole damn thing down, so I guess this is just a precursor to that.
Hmm.
I'm actually
Well,
I'm
that would
getting ready to
definitely
go right
create,
into the
that would,
lion's den.
I was going to say that would definitely create havoc, man. I'll tell you what, a lot of people lose their freaking minds when they go to turn their phone on and there's nothing, no signal, no nothing.
We'll see kids wander in the street like zombies. They won't know what to do. They won't even know how to talk because they sit and text each other instead of in the same room, and they don't talk to each other. They won't even know how to speak.
I know, right? That's pretty sad.
Yeah. Welcome to modern technology.
Oh, shoot. Looks like we lost Alex again.
Yeah. But
Well,
yeah,
if
the
you
internet
read
has
those
been doing
questions
some
line.
weird stuff.
Yeah, you know what, Yankee? You might be right, dude. Go back to the books. Actually, I've got that pocket constitution. I'd make sure my kids got one too. That'd be the first book I'd make them read.
My first book is the Holy Bible. Everything else comes second.
The gator got him. I don't know if he's got gators down there. I know he lives like, I think he's more southern Florida.
Yeah. That's something else, we never talked about, Ron, is people that have firearms such as AR-15s, and whether it's Glocks or Colt 1911s or what, they should have manuals, maintenance manuals that show the parts, the breakdown, where to lube them, what kind of lube to use, and all that. They should have a manual for their firearm, because if in a hit the fan situation and there's no gunsmith around, and your gun needs to be cleaned or tuned up or taken apart and lubed and stuff like that, you need to be familiar with it, but you may need a manual to refer to. And
Yeah.
they don't they don't take up that much weight. You can put them up against the back of your little bug out bag if you're going to be a buggy and bug out, and carry it with you with a little bottle of some kind of oil or grease. You can buy even one for a Russian rifle, and it has two compartments in it, and put in your backpack. It'll be good for your fishing rods and reels, your guns, anything else you may need to grease up, except your girlfriend. But
Yeah.
that takes a separate lube.
Yes, it does. So, spit works. Well, what do you think? We've been on for about an hour and a half. I've still got to get ready for my after dark. What do you say we go ahead and wrap this one up? And then
Okay, if nobody's got any questions for us or need words of wisdom,
I've got
hops for
some of
fun
them.
time. Yeah, red kind of gets excited when I put a little dab of hops #9 behind my ears, but she's a gun gal. If you walk into a bar with hops 9 behind your ear and a girl takes a liking to you, she's a gun girl. Remember that.
Hmm. I agree with that.
But
It'll be about 10 o'clock, so maybe about, what is that, an hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that. Um, be enough time for me to go hang out with my kids for a little bit, um, kick the dog, feed the cats, stuff like that. All right. Well, everybody, I want to thank you all very much for coming out. And like I said, if you haven't followed me over on the After Dark channel, I've been getting really big numbers there. I couldn't believe it. I checked my analytics the other day, Moose. 29,000 views on that channel, and it's only been up for like 4 months.
Wow.
I was like, holy crap, But I still haven't hit the 1,000. But even when I hit the 1,000, I'm not going to monetize that one, because that's where we go to talk about all the stuff that we really can't really discuss here.
Right. Right. And now I'm finding all these people that had big monetizations, even like the guy who I watch, God, Family, and Guns, they've demonetized him again. And they took down a lot of his videos and instructional videos. And it's crazy because he has such a great content. And they come up with this new, you're violating YouTube's policy on firearms and this and that. And then they demonetize him. Yet YouTube should be ashamed of themselves taking 30 or 40%, whatever they're taking. They're like loan sharks. I mean, come on. So I wouldn't monetize. Like I said, I'd put up a PayPal link and donate to PayPal. If they take 3%, we can live with 3%, but this other stuff is just absolute highway robbery as far as I'm concerned. They're making millions and millions and millions of dollars off of advertising and all this other stuff, and yet they got to dip into the pocket of contributors that's helping to make the content that makes them even exist. If everybody got together and said, "Screw YouTube, we're not putting up any more content," and everybody quit, pretty soon they wouldn't have a platform. They'd be screaming, "Well, where'd everybody go?" But that's the power in numbers if you
Pretty
get
much.
everybody to agree. But
Sorry, I
we
fell out there. I got in a fight with an alligator.
okay. Oh man, are we having fresh alligator tail for supper tonight? I'm in.
No, I was just brushing his teeth and I got distracted.
Oh, okay. Never smile at a crocodile though.
No, it's my signal.
There
I'd
you go.
rather come up on an alligator than a crocodile anyway.
Hanging Arizona. Yeah, my After
So you
Dark is.
said you're about to finish this up?
Yeah, I was getting ready to. Yeah.
Well, I apologize about my weak ass signal. I tried to be a part of it, but I just don't have that kind of luck. But I am getting ready to go into the mouth of the lion. I have to make a emergency trip to California, so I'm gonna be leaving Monday. That's gonna suck all kinds of things that shouldn't be sucked, but we got to go get it done and get out of there as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Amen.
I'll tell you what, man, I won't even go in there. I do. We've got friends in there. I mean, Guardsman lives right in the belly of the beast, so to speak. Yeah.
I'd be afraid to breathe in the air there. It might change me.
I know, right? It's gonna turn you liberal.
But don't drink the water. For God's sakes, whatever you do, don't drink the water. It's got to be loaded with some kind of dumbass
Yeah, no
chemical.
doubt. Yeah, I'm gonna try to crawl in, going over Tahoe, run into Monterey, and do what I have to do, and then we're gonna turn around and get the hell back out of there. I'm not gonna drive through California. I'm not going into San Diego and then north. That's for sure.
Mm-mm.
Damn.
I wouldn't even go to L.A. via Omaha.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I got an American flag on my Jeep in the grill. My license plate is a DVP tag. My my CCW is connected to my driver's license. So if they pull up my tag, they see that I have that. And then, you know, being a veteran, I got all these marks against me going into that state.
In Florida.
And plus a Florida tag. We are
Yep.
absolutely the enemy of California, apparently. So I'm going to try to
Yeah.
slink in and slink out. I was
You're
going to try to
doomed.
go see. I was going to try to go see Pete, but there's no way I can even do that. I can't risk that much exposure in that state right now.
If I had the money, I think I'd rent a car or a little U-Haul van and go in and out quick on somebody else's vehicle.
I wish I could, but yeah, I got to help out family. We got to go grab some furniture for them and hook up to a U-Haul trailer and get it the hell out of there. But we're gonna go in there. We're gonna probably be in there for 2 days, and then we are going to make like the wind and get the hell out of there.
Make like horse shit and hit the trail.
That's it.
Or in California, make like a saddler.
But I'll be
Let
filming a
us live.
bit, doing some. I may even do a live stream while we're out there, just to show people what's going on.
Yeah, I bet you get better signal out there. All right, guys, shall we go ahead and call it?
Yeah,
And
as soon
then,
as I leave,
as soon as what?
Go ahead, Vet.
soon as I leave my property, I get a better signal. It's almost like they've got a satellite parked over me and scramble this shit. We do live in the flight path of the airbase right here. And it seems like the more they've been doing the flights, the harder it is to get a signal, and that's for cell phone or anything. So I think that the military scrambles our shit more than else out here.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. In fact,
I'm wondering
I don't
if that's
doubt
what they're doing over Arizona. You know, we've got military flights flying over certain cities and that we've noticed on Monkey Works and other where we monitor military aircraft. And since that audit started, they've been flying over Arizona in this one particular type of plane, just circling all the time. All the time, these planes are circling. And so I'm wondering what's going on if they're not monitoring,
Yeah.
you know, communications or blocking communications or what they're doing.
You can bet they're recording everything they hear.
Yeah. Well, we should start speaking the truth about support your Constitution, defend your country, and stop monkeying around. You guys got the power to straighten this country out. You got our backing, veterans
Yep.
and police officers and patriots and
Absolutely.
true-blooded Americans. We back you 100% at whatever you
Only
do.
the police officers that aren't.
Brainwashed, yeah.
Yeah, if it's the police officers that are turning on the people and going against their oath, then I have no respect for them.
Right.
And that's really sad because it's not me doing it, it's them doing it. But the rest of the cops that stand up for we the people and know the law and know the Constitution, I have nothing but respect for them. But it'd be just the same way if somebody in the military who turns on the people.
We got friends that are cops.
Yeah. I'm lucky our constitutional cops are here. Our cops are constitutional. Our sheriff is very constitutional. Our retired police officers are constitutional. Most of them are all they're like me. We're veterans, so yeah, we the Constitution is very important to us. We're not some kid that come off the street, went to college, and went and got him a little degree in law. Then they pin a badge on and stick a gun in his belt, and he thinks he's God. That ain't the kind of police officers we were. Those cops don't last very long. The last one we had here has lasted about 6 months, and he's gone. So, yeah. But
well, it would be nice if the other police that are our friends and are good guys, I wish they would step in and tell these people to straighten the hell up.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the leadership, and it's the political leadership above them that's pulling their strings on their paychecks. And that's the thing. Our whole society again bases back to
Right.
money. And when somebody starts messing with their money, they cave in because they don't want to lose their retirement they may have built up. They don't want to lose their job where they're getting paid, even though they're sick of people, telling them what they got to do that they really don't want to do, and they ain't got kahunas enough to stand up and say, "I'm not doing that." But that's the way it is. But I want to thank
Right.
Dangerous Freedom for having me back on here on a Saturday night, and thank everybody that came by to visit with us and hear our rants and raves and our news and everything else. But we love doing this. We love the contact with the people. That's why we're here doing it. And you know, you guys just be safe out there. Keep your powder dry and keep your faith in God strong. It'll work out.
Yep, I agree with you.
Hey, man. Good to meet
You
you
say
too, and good to hang out with you. I appreciate you there, Ron, for having me hang out with you for the little bit of time I could keep a signal.
well, we'll try again. You know, you're always welcome here. Anyways, yeah. On that note,
All
we
right.
will hang down here. Not to
We
mention,
will see everyone
I am
later.
starving. So, yeah, I'll be around. It'll be 10 o'clock my time. So about maybe 2.5, a little over hours. I'll be around. So I will see you all on the after dark. Everybody, peace.